You're listening to the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. Here, we'll help you unlock the secrets of entrepreneurship and self-development. This is your host, Alex Quin. I'm a full-stack marketing executive and global keynote speaker. Get ready to get real-world knowledge from top-level entrepreneurs and world-class business leaders.
Hey guys, Randy Zuckerberg here.
Hi everyone, it's Neil Patel, and you're listening to Hustle Inspires Hustle.
This is the motherfucking CEO, Andy Frisella. You're listening to Hustle Inspires Hustle with Alex Quin.
Become an authority and thought leader in your niche. Join a free private community of entrepreneurs and professionals looking to grow their business and optimize their performance. Get easy to learn resources and materials that empower your personal and financial success. Easily accessible for free on desktop and mobile app. Go to hustleinspireshustle.com/app to access now. That's hustleinspireshustle.com/app. Enjoy the rest of the episode. What's going on, everyone? This is Alex Quin, and you're listening to the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. On today's episode, we have Andres Restrepo from Palmeramia. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for inviting me on. Excited.
Hey, man, this is a long time coming. I appreciate you. I've known you for quite a while now. And the story. People need to hear the story. I love what you guys have going on. I know the rest of the team isn't here for the call, but at a later time when we're all together, we're all doing big podcast. Shout out to the boys. But man, listen, I want to give everybody some context. You guys have an amazing clothing brand. It's highly recognized, but you guys are also amazing people. I got to know you guys as the guys you are, and then, got to know more about the brand, and we flourish from that perspective. But I just love all the hard work and dedication and just the family aspect of the business and how you guys have been able to become a globally recognized name, but you guys just keep it real, man. You guys are just fam. You guys are trying to do your thing. And I think that's the core values that the brand is most known for. So talk to us about Palmeramia, man.
Well, man, we were actually reminiscing the other day, about 2 weeks ago, because we have our 5th anniversary coming up right now in August. So we were kind of planning some stuff out. So we were reminiscing on those days when we were first getting started, so the brand, we're actually 3 cousins. My other 2 partners are twins, Camilo and Santiago. We've always been brothers since we grew up, even though we're cousins. But one day they just decided they were kind of fed up with their jobs. They were kind of just making some money, but they didn't see any future in it. They didn't really have kind of like that ideal career path that some people have when they start college. So they were just kind of like checking that box off just to go to school, but they didn't have like a dream that they wanted to achieve. So they kind of started looking for something that they wanted to flourish into, something that they were passionate about. So as they were doing that, I was working in accounting for a hotel, in the hotel industry. It was something in which I was growing, but I wasn't too happy with it. I didn't really see myself doing that for the rest of my life. So I just decided to keep doing it because it was teaching me a lot about the business world, about how to deal with high-profile clients, a lot of things. So one day the guys came up to me and they said, "Hey, we have an idea. We know you have more of an understanding of the business world and how to grow a company and how to deal with capital projects, kind of thing." And they told me, "Hey, look, we have this idea to start a clothing brand. We've always kind of liked to have our own style. And sometimes we go shop for clothes and we can't find what we picture we would want to find." So that's how the idea got started. It was basically trying to find a look that we wanted to rock, but it wasn't available out there. So we wanted to kind of like give it a little twist. So they kind of showed me what the idea was about, the logo they had come up with. And we said, "Hey, let's give it a shot. If anything, we'll just make this kind of little side project. We'll keep working on our jobs." And it started as something that we would do on nights and weekends. And it started growing from there. The idea started about February 2015, and we opened on August 8th of that same year.
So what was the first piece of clothing you guys made? Was it a hat? Was it a shirt? A hoodie? What was the first official one?
So it's funny that you asked that, because when we first started, even though we kind of had like our own sense of style, we knew nothing about the manufacturing world, especially in like how to make a piece of clothing from scratch. We didn't know anything about embroidery, about printing, nothing. So we were kind of looking to learn. And that's why we said, hey, let's kind of give it a shot. And we ended up finding, at that time, I was living in Orlando. The guys were living in Miami. We were kind of trying to piece everything together. We found a printing and embroidery place in Orlando, and the salesperson kind of started guiding us through like a few different things that like we wanted to know. We had our ideas. We kind of showed it to him, and he kind of started guiding us a little bit here and there. However, one of the tough things to find in this industry is to find a mix of quality and someone that'll make a low quantity for you, because everyone's always trying to make the most money possible. And when they see someone that's inexperienced, they see kind of like a potential to like, they got to spend a lot of time on that project, and it's going to not necessarily be worthwhile too much.
Yeah.
So then what we ended up doing is we started everything from savings. Like no one would give us a loan at the time. So we're just like, hey, let's give it a shot. So we started off with credit cards and savings. And we started off with 10 products, 8 shirts and 2 hats, kind of different styles. In total, 1,000 pieces, which is insane as a first move, because we didn't have an audience established. We didn't have a customer base. We had nothing. And we were just diving in at 1,000 pieces at a time. Now that we think back, it was crazy, but it taught us a lot, because we had a lot of confidence in what we wanted to make, but at the same time, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. So it was a mix of, we made some t-shirts, some tank tops, what's called a Henley, which is kind of like a polo buttons in the front, but it has no collar. Okay. And then we had two classic snapback hats is what we started with.
And the hats are the ones that really took off, right?
The hats were the best sellers from day one up to today, are our best sellers.
I remember I came across you guys because my good friend Cata Balsano, which is great friends with you guys as well, I think she invited me to an event she was having, and I think you guys were there, and you guys were all wearing like this really dope stuff, like, and it had logos on it. You guys looked like you guys were like a unit, and I was like, oh, that shit's cool. I remember I went and asked her, and she did confirm she had talked to us about you guys already, and then we all hit it off, and by we I mean like our team at the time and everybody that was working with us, and of course you guys as a team. And from the jump, when I saw the logo, like, I thought palm tree, okay? But I know there's some people that have thought other things. So obviously most people are listening right now, so they probably can't imagine the logo if they haven't put a name to the company, what it would be like. But we've heard what, like palm tree.
Dragonfly is a big one.
Dragonfly.
We get a railroad crossing. We get a electrical pole. We get a lot of things. But at the end of the day, what's cool about it is that a lot of people say is that the logo is eye-catching.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the funny part is that I remember when I first like started rocking the gear, and like we all started like hanging out, like I would wear it and people would like, oh, I seen that, or oh, that's cool. Like, oh, I seen that. And I was like, shit, like, all right. And like, it was just so cool to see you guys putting in so much work, and then like all of these great things happening for the brand, like the brand being able to be widely recognized. I mean, what's it been? I remember, I think it was like a year and a half ago that we were watching something and like came out on Netflix. Like things like little things like that, like are like those assurances, right? Because that's not gonna make the company, right? Or like one specific person wearing the product that doesn't make what the company is. But if people keep wanting to wear the brand, and the brand now is consistent in the space, and now it's a brand that's recognized, you start seeing that all that hard work is worth it. Because look what you said before. So you guys didn't get funding, but you guys used your savings and you guys used credit cards. What if you were still in Orlando, where the guys would have been like, nah, let's not call and dress, or like, let's not do this. Like, maybe we should just stay at work. Like, I know for a fact I know for a fact, and to give you some context, guys, we've worked with the team. We've both done some great things together. We've done some collabs. You guys have probably heard me on stages all over the world talk about this. We talk about the collab we did with Metro a lot, Andres, to give you some context. So people listen to it a lot. We've talked about it in a lot of presentations where we designed that collection and we were able to do so many cool things. But ultimately, what I remember is you guys having, if not hundreds of millions, like billions of impressions on the logo, and that's very difficult to achieve for a clothing brand. You're talking about numbers like really up there, and it's numbers like that you guys have gotten because people like your brand and like you guys, because a lot of brands will just go buy the press or will pay for it, and we're not talking about that in this specific scenario. Like, people actually like what you guys have going on. They like your products.
Yeah, and what you're talking about, it's been a mystery, but at the same time, like, it's been kind of just being who we are. Like, we want the clothes to represent who we are. We don't want to act different just because, for example, there's a celebrity or an influencer wearing the brand. We've always been very about just getting across the message that we want from the brand, which we'll get into about the whole charitable side of the brand as well. But also just to look, just what we want it to represent. We want people to feel good because, as most of us know, like, when you wear something that you really feel good, you feel really good in, that boosts your kind of like your ego a little bit, but it makes you feel better. It makes you approach life in a more confident way. So we want to have that for people in a way where it's kind of just not just what we call simple elegance, which is kind of like a streetwear side to it, but also, like, if you want to go out to a club or a bar, it'll make you look good too. So when we've approached that, when we've approached celebrities or influencers, whoever it may be, we've always approached it with that sense. Instead of seeing what we can get out of the interaction, we try to look for something different, just to build a relationship, because these are people that a lot of times they get a lot of attention just because of what they've done, not necessarily who they are. So what we try to do is approach those people in a human way and interact with something that's kind of more that'll help build a relationship for the future, not just as a transactional interaction. So that's what we've done. We've kind of just built that relationship. In some occasions, exchanged clothes. It kind of just brought these clothes to these celebrities or these influencers. And we were actually talking about it the other day. We've never really asked anyone to help us post anything or tag us on anything. It's been very organic. So that's what's been really cool about it. And there's kind of like a magic behind it that we can't explain, but it's really been about what you're saying, about being who we are, and just let that speak for itself.
I think people just like you guys, bro. Like, you and the twins, like, you guys are a cool bunch, and that reflects on the quality of the clothes and the quality of the content and the quality of people who wear your clothes as well, because a lot of great people making a lot of great moves are rocking it. But also, like, you guys are showing that it is possible. It is possible to do it. You guys, to give everyone some context, you guys started online, right? You guys started selling the products on social media, on the website. You guys now have a physical location in Medellin, in Colombia. You guys are Colombian. Some more context. But tell me, man, what's been one of the biggest things that you've learned, like, in these past few years operating the brand, that you feel that's really impacted you, that you've been able to take away as a business owner?
I think one of the most important lessons, not just me, but like as a team, that we've learned is you can't approach situations thinking you know everything or you know how everything is going to work. Because when you think you may know everything is when things will flip on you. And it's when you got to stay humble and realize that at times you got to make adjustments. And along with that, kind of tying into that, during these times of quarantine, and especially with this global pandemic, it's been about adapting, because at the end of the day, if you don't adapt, you die off. So it's been about that. It's been about, we think we're making the right decisions, whether it's something based on inventory or something based on designs that we think are going to sell like crazy, or dealing with a distributor that we think is going to be something that's going to be really cool, or just taking in scenarios where you kind of take leaps of faith and you're not too sure. It's about always finding a way when you're making a risky move, making sure that you have a way to come out of that just in case it doesn't work out, because things don't necessarily always work out how you expect them to. So it's just about that, kind of like always willing to adjust, always willing to evolve into something new, especially in the fashion world. It's something that's constantly evolving. It's something that you got to constantly be learning about every day, whether it's materials, styles, colors, a lot of things.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in real quick to tell you about how to train yourself in organization, balancing your priorities, developing successful habits, and most importantly, having a better mindset. I'm giving free access to resources and materials on business management and self-development. Go to hustleinspireshustle.com/app to get access. That's hustleinspireshustle.com/app. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter at Hustle Inspires Hustle. Okay, let's get back into the episode. So a lot of people listening to this will want to start an e-commerce brand, will want to maybe start a clothing brand, accessories, whatnot. What are some key takeaways from your experience in social media marketing? Because clearly the world is online more right now. A lot more people are online. So companies that have been online are obviously in a better position than companies who didn't take the leap before. We were talking about that before we started recording. What are some key takeaways from not only running a business and a clothing brand, which it's a whole thing in itself, but also marketing that online? How has that experience been?
It's cool that you asked me this, and like saying that there's some people that are going to be wanting to learn a little so they can start their own brand. It's something we actually like to do when people hit us up on social media or write us an email looking for advice. We try to help people out just because we've had people help us out when they didn't really need to help us out. So we like to pay it forward in a way.
Careful what you wish for. A bunch of people listening.
No, we're always willing to help, man. Like,
I know,
to get back.
And you guys know all about giving back. Let's segue that conversation also into the charity aspect, because you guys have been able to help a lot of people around the world with that, and through the help of social media.
So let me just answer the marketing aspect of it. It's been a mix of different things. It's been about try and error. It's about making sure you learn along the way, whether it's looking for ways to expose your brand through influencers like we were just talking about, whether it's going out to network and meeting people like we were talking about when we met you guys from UADV, from the Hustle Inspires Hustle team, from meeting Cata Balsano, our friend that used to work at Miami Herald. So it's constantly about looking to network. It's about looking to make connections, because a lot of times you've seen what message we want to come across, we want to bring with our brand. And as you've spoken about, like you've used us as examples in some of the keynotes that you guys have going on. It's helps when you start building a community. So it's based off of that. So at the end of the day, the goal of the marketing is to build a community, because that community can help you spread the word about your brand. It can help you. It can. As you build the community stronger and you give people kind of like that content, and you start continuously giving them what they want to see or what they want to wear, it starts becoming more of a lifestyle, and people see that more as they find more of a bond. Instead of just buying an article of clothing, you start getting more into what, like, selling them a feeling, because they know the brand brings them kind of like a certain feeling. So it's been about building that community, and it's been a blessing that now we can market. Like, this is something that you couldn't do a few years back, like that you can market, you can reach out. For example, here in Colombia, which marketing is a little cheaper here than it is in the US, but here in Colombia, just to give a random example, the other day we just wanted to compare with $2 on Facebook, and Instagram, we can reach about 40,000 people, while compared to the US, we can reach about 12 to 15,000 people. So it's been about learning that. It's about, like I said, it's trial and error, running ads, seeing what works, what doesn't. Like it's a lot of different things. I know I'm jumping into a lot of different things, but it's been about that. It's been about educating ourselves, about creating. One of the most important things has been creating quality content, because if you don't have quality content, at the end of the day, the fashion world is based off of kind of like what they don't tell you to do, which is judge a book by its cover. But at the end of the day, when you see fashion, it's about, okay, first impression, do I like it or not? If you don't like it, you're not going to look further into it. So that's the idea, to constantly come out with quality pictures, to come out, like, have some cool videos, have a different view perspective every time. Even though one of our owners, Camilo, is a photographer.
Yeah, he's real creative, man. He's great.
He has his own little
Yep.
view on things. But that's the thing about photographers, that they each like to present their product a different way. And when I mean their product, I mean their pictures. So even though we have a photographer, once in a while we have some like guest photographers, which we have them do photo shoots, and we do things like that because that keeps the perspective fresh. It helps Camilo work with them and see kind of different viewpoints on how he can improve his craft. Yeah. So the quality content is a big one. So that's something you should definitely invest in if you want to get into such a visual world.
Yeah, you really want to voice to people like what it feels like to be around the product or wearing the product, or like what kind of feeling or confidence it gives you, what kind of vibe it's in, right? And that's really cool. I really like what you said just now about the stats in Colombia. That you guys are able to reach a lot more people, because I know you guys are extremely popular over there. Everybody in Colombia knows you guys, like whether they've purchased your clothes or seen somebody wearing it or just seen it in the media, like it's already extremely known. So it must be really cool to be able to brand over there right now, and all the change that you guys are being able to provide in Colombia. Let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about all the help you guys provide.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, tying in with that, like one of the things that we did since we started the brand was we wanted to find a way to help. The initial thought was, hey, it'd be cool to help out. Like once the brand gets big and we start doing really well, let's try to help out in a way. But then as we started kind of thinking of how we could help out, we said, why don't we just attach that as DNA of the company? Because since before even starting the brand, we wanted to do it. So we tied it in with using 10% of profits to help people without access to clean water around the world. So what we've been able to do with that is that we've been able to help out through different charities. First, we started off with Charity Water because we wanted a totally transparent organization that would 100% use those funds to help people with that need to access to clean water. Because there's people out in communities that have to walk 4 hours a day just to get a bucket of water. And then they have to walk that back. And that's to like feed their animals and just have enough to like for their family. So it's a very difficult world because there's close to, I believe right now last time I checked the number was somewhere between 600 and 700 million people that don't have access to potable water around the world. So it's something, if you think about what you need as a human, you need, first of all, you need to breathe. And then what's more essential after that? Like you go a week without water and you die. So, and then a lot of the times the water that these people find is water that's contaminated. So there's a lot of waterborne illnesses that stem away from this. So we wanted to find a way to help these communities that are in such need. And it's not, first when we started off with helping out through Charity Water, it was in Africa. Then we've helped out another organization that's based out of Miami that helps out in the Dominican Republic. And they've slowly started to help, I believe it's in Guatemala. And I think they were looking to start working here in Colombia as well. And another one is Nueva Life, which is the one we've been working with the most lately, because our goal came to be able to help to come back to our homeland, which is Colombia, and help those people, because there's an indigenous region in the northern part of Colombia called La Guajira, which deals with that problem quite a bit. So we decided to start working with Nueva Life because they help specifically in Colombia, and they help communities become more sustainable. So it's been great. We've been a lot of times we just donate. A lot of times we end up 2017. We ended up going to one of the communities out in northern Colombia to help out, and I think it's been one of the most satisfying experiences of our entire lives. Just seeing how those people embraced us and how happy they were for us to be there, and how welcoming they were, and knowing the fact that you're just putting a little grain of sand just to help these people's lives be better. You're potentially saving hundreds, if not thousands, of lives by building a well so that communities can come and have access to clean water. And that's a lot has stemmed from that. Recently, we actually did a project with another 14 local brands here in Colombia, in which we saw that those communities were struggling to make money to get food and to feed their families, because they make a lot of kind of like hammocks. I think they make hammocks, they make bags, and they make a lot of things, and they're hand sewn, and that's what they make a living off of. And since there's no tourist activity in that area, they weren't making any money. So what we ended up doing is joining forces with another 14 brands. We all put 3 products in, which was about $1,000 worth of merchandise. What we did is that we started selling raffle tickets for that, and we ended up putting together about $1,000 in donations for those raffle tickets. One person won that entire package from the 15 brands worth $1,000. We were able to put in $1,000 to help communities. We were able to buy groceries enough for about 3 weeks for about 60 families. So it was huge. It was a huge help. They sent us, we posted a lot of that on our social media. And it was really cool because we were looking for a way to help out, but without putting ourselves in a tough situation. So that's where the networking comes in, because maybe you don't have the resources to help out directly, but three of our products, along with help with 14 other brands, turned into $1,000 in help. So it was really cool because we saw everyone coming together in the situation where things are so tough that everyone was willing to lend out a helping hand to be able to help those communities in need.
That's really cool, man. And like, just think about, like, not just from the perspective of receiving, like receiving the clothing item for them to wear, but like what comes behind that, right? Because it comes behind that, seeing that there's people in the community around that want to help. And not only that, it's people who run brands that are cool for them, that they like to look at, that they've seen somewhere, and it just helps them see that there's people out there that want to help. And I know that's very difficult for entrepreneurs sometimes to like find a like-minded community or a like-minded group of people who just actually want to help out. Like you were saying before, when people usually ask us questions or on the DM or if they email us, like we like to answer as much as we can, however we can, to help out, because, you know, I've experienced it in my career. I've had a lot of people help me out, and they didn't have to help me at the time, and they didn't have to go above and beyond. And you guys did that too. You guys have helped me. I've had to design clothes for my brands, man, and for my things, and you guys are always there to support and help me out and make sure that those things happen. And I think more than just growing a brand that sells a lot and is extremely recognizable, if you could create a brand that could have a positive impact in ways outside of what the brand does as well, it's extremely respectable and something that people should strive for, because like we've all experienced getting a little bit of help, or somebody having a little bit of compassion one day, or, you know, just doing something nice for you. And if we think about that a little bit more than being divided, or, you know, just trying to take a cut of the whole pie, or just trying to do things by yourself, you know, it's nice to do things by yourself, but it's also nice to have help sometimes and have a great team. Like you guys have a great dynamic at Palmeramia. You know, like my team at Hustle Inspires Hustle and UADV, like we're a small team. We pack a big punch, but, you know, we know exactly what we're going for, and we know what type of impact we want to make. But it wasn't always like that. I remember, man, a time when I was just trying to transact and make a lot of money, which should always be the goal. You should always try to be wealthy and try to be rich. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what you do with it once you get it, right? And how much of it are you actually keeping? And, you know, like what positive impact is that having? But ultimately, if you're listening to this and you want to start a business, or you already have a business that you're working on, like make it your goal to drive sales. Make it your goal to crush your sales goals, but make it a goal for there to be a culture in your company. Or maybe if you don't have a lot of people, but just in the ecosystem of which your company operates, make sure that you leave a positive footprint. Make sure that you do something good where people remember you for what you are, and they start associating that to your brand, and your brand starts being seen in a different perspective. These days with social media, and these days with the ability of people to be able to become extremely recognized and widely known, people want to connect more with people than with just a brand. So make sure that your brand has real people behind it, and that you're a real people person, and you're patient with people, and you understand that if you're getting into a business or if you're getting into a craft, it's because you want to solve a problem, not create one. You want to solve a problem and you want to make money while solving that problem. And I think that's a perfect combination. And that's why I love what you guys have going on, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast.
Yeah, man. And yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah. Just to add on a little bit to what you're saying, it's pretty much about that. Just like making sure that you're not just selling and being transactional to people. Make sure that you're making an impact. Make sure that you're creating an emotion for that person, that you want them to value you and see you in a positive mindset. And it doesn't, you don't necessarily have to be donating. You can volunteer your time. There's a lot of ways you can help and just do that. You start creating your community little by little, and that's how you create customers for life. So that's kind of what it's about. And it's about just continuing to strive, like you said, to grow, because at the end of the day, we all want to make a living off of this. We all want to grow, but it's also about making sure, like, one of the most satisfying things that we've done, like I said, is being able to help others out. Like knowing that you can make someone else's life be better just by you putting a little more effort in is huge. Like, at the end of the day, whether you're making money or you're not making money, if you're happy, it goes a long way. So knowing that you're making other people happy, it's like if you've never done it, if you've never gone to volunteer, to do anything, to serve food on Thanksgiving, anything, any charitable activity, like those kind of things, like they fill your happiness quite a bit. Like it's really satisfying to see that smile on other people's faces.
And another thing, because sometimes people, like, you'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh, but like, I don't know if the money's going to go to the right place, or if I donate, or, sometimes it doesn't even have to be your time or your money. Sometimes just like when you find somebody and you see somebody in a difficult situation, just try to be a human being and try to understand, like, man, this person's going through some shit right now. Maybe me being an asshole right now is not the way. Or maybe me being more difficult or make it more difficult right now is not the way. Maybe I should just try to help this person. Maybe it's holding the door open for somebody that's struggling. Maybe it's, the smallest thing could set off a great chain of events. And that's the purpose of the podcast. Hustle inspires hustle, right? Like, to inspire others to do great. However it is that you do it. Your hustle is to work, great. Your hustle is you want to be a philanthropist, great. But just whatever you do it right and inspire others to do the same. That way we could live in a place where we all feel comfortable and where we feel like the community that we're contributing to is contributing the same back, and you have a much more healthy living environment and much more healthy working environment too. I think a lot of people listening to this have been able to experience what it's like to work with a group of people or work with people that they don't like, right? Or that just don't fit the way that they work or make them uncomfortable. And I think one of the happiest things for an entrepreneur, one of the best things for an entrepreneur, is to finally fall within a group of people who know what they're doing and who are doing a good job and who are aligned. And so it doesn't have to be lonely. Just random acts of kindness will help great people gravitate towards you, and those might be the people that are going to make a big difference in your life. That's why I love that I gravitated towards Cata Balsano and towards you guys and all the efforts that you've had. I've always loved to support. I wait for the day that you make it back to Miami so we could sit with Cami and Santi and have a full-on podcast and have a whole breakdown, because I know they have so much to bring to the table in regards to content and marketing, and we could have a really, really nice conversation. And I think that would be the first Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast episode with more than 2 people on it, which would be extremely interesting. But I think it would be nice because we all have a lot of experience. We've all worked on deals together. We all worked on a strategic partnership together with Metro Signs, and we created a really cool line that then some really cool influencers wore that was sold in multiple countries. So there's been little things that I've been talking about in different episodes or in different presentations where I tell people that there's ways to make money by bringing multiple parties together or multiple ideas together and making something flourish through the power of collaboration. So, guys, if you're looking forward to an episode like that, make sure to let us know. Hit us up on social media if you'd like to hear something like that. And when the guys are all in Miami, we'll make an episode like that happen. But for now, Andres, how can we find you guys on social? Where could people find you guys so they could see a little bit about what you do?
You can find us on all. The only one we don't have right now is TikTok, which has been pretty popular lately. But right now we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us as Palmeramia, PALMERAMIA. You can find our website, same thing, palmeramia.com. And remember that what we do is that we take 10% of profits from the business, and we use it to help communities without access to clean water. Right now, we're in the middle of coming out with a camo collection, which has been pretty popular. And we have 2 more items. We're trying a different approach in which we're offering free shipping, so it doesn't become an inconvenience for people. But what we're doing is that we're dropping items little by little. So we give each product they're kind of like own spotlight, so that people actually get to see all the details and everything that each product brings to the table. We have 2 more products to bring, and we have some exciting stuff coming up right now in August for the 5th year anniversary as well. So you look out for that.
Definitely look out for that. Guys, this is Alex Quin, Andres Restrepo, Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. See you guys next week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. I'd appreciate it if you could share, leave a review, and subscribe to the show. Visit hustleinspireshustle.com/app for more free resources, event invitations, and online courses to empower your personal and financial success. Learn about marketing, finances, business development, branding, strategic partnerships, and much more. If you're looking to further connect, check me out on Instagram or LinkedIn at Alex Quin. That's ALEXQUIN.